Hello. I tried recording this video once and it stopped. So I really hope this works. I just finished a book that I really enjoyed and I want to share my thoughts and opinions on it. Sorry. The book in question is 11/22/63 by Stephen King. So, I started this book last summer, actually, and I got about to here, I want to say. I did a good dent in it, but then the school year started and I didn't have much time to read because I think this type of book you need to devote time to and really immerse yourself with it, and I didn't have that time. So I just finished it, and I have never read a Stephen King before. This was my first Stephen King, and I think this is like the best Stephen King to start with, in my opinion. I saw it online and it looked really, really interesting and had incredible reviews, so I wanted to read it. I don't know really anything about JFK besides he was the president of the United States. And that did kind of make me skeptical about it because I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy a almost 900-page book about JFK. I do love historical fiction though, so I was intrigued about that, but I was unsure at first. But the book isn't even about JFK at all. I got it at Barnes & Noble, and right when I bought it, I started reading it in the store, and I was hooked right away. Like I said, I'm not familiar with Stephen King besides him writing It, which I have never read. I've watched the movie, but I wasn't familiar with his writing style. And when I started it, I was hooked, like I said. The main character, I think, is probably the most likable main character that I've ever read. Which is such a statement because reading is so subjective. And some people might not agree with that, but I think he was the most likable main character, which is arguably one of the most important things to have when writing a book. This was written in first person, which I love. I hate books that are written in third person because it's hard for me to really follow and immerse myself with it. But this was written in first person, and the main character, his name is Jake, in parentheses George, is so human, even though what this book is and his journey is not very human. What's happening, if that makes sense. But the way Stephen King writes and describes things, obviously in much detail, is like you're there. You're actually there. And I know people say that a lot about books, but I really mean it. I was there. It did feel like 5 books in one, especially because you're going different places and you're going back and forth. And there's so many different plots happening in this. And especially since I stopped reading it for a while, I did feel like there was like 5 books in one. But I think because of that, it makes it so interesting. Because there's so many things happening. And it's not just like one journey that Jake has to go on. It's multiple in his own making. And that is incredibly difficult to capture in one book. And Stephen King does an incredible job. I actually think it's important to say that I was a little prejudiced towards Stephen King before I read this, because I just thought, how can a person write an 1,000-page book about a killer clown? Like, you have to be mentally kind of cuckoo. But I put that aside for this book, and I'm very glad I did, because incredible. I really think whoever reads this all the way through will enjoy it. Any person. And the way Stephen King writes it is, you're able to read it and to love it no matter what level of reader you are. Even if you don't read much, this might intimidate you, the size and just holding it, but it's for anyone. And that is incredible how he writes it. I'm so happy that I read it. And I really hope, if you haven't read it, you should. It does make me want to read more Stephen King. I actually started a book that my brother got me. I forget what it's called. But it's an old Stephen King book. I think he wrote it in the 70s. And it's very good so far. Yeah. So I think you should check it out if you haven't read this book. And if you have, please share your thoughts. I didn't want to spoil anything because that's awful. I wanted this to be a review without any spoilers. So I hope you enjoy. Please, if you've read it, share your thoughts. And if you haven't, you should. It's incredible. Stephen King did an amazing job. And don't let the size intimidate you, because it's so worth reading. Bye.